Folks, there is one group of buyers really feeling the squeeze right now. I'll talk about them and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending November 29th, 2023. Last week I announced thousands of you watch these videos every single week, yet 60% of you are not subscribed and a whole bunch of you subscribe. So let me say thank you for that. If you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you're reminded when these videos come up. So in yesterday's video, I talked about buyers taking responsibility for their actions. And I talked about one group of buyer, and I gave the example of young couple. They don't qualify with their income to purchase the home they want to purchase, so they get a cosigner. The problem with that is, yes, they qualify for more money, and yes, they can buy the home they want to buy. It seems like a happy ending, but that cosigner usually is not participating in the payments. It's usually a family member, a parent saying, sure, I'll cosign for my kids. And which parent wouldn't? If they have the means to cosign and they can help their kids qualify for a mortgage, most parents will do that. But the parent usually isn't helping with the monthly payments. And this is where the actual people looking to purchase the home run into trouble. They don't qualify with their income. They get somebody else to co-sign to inflate the income. It's all legal, it's all proper, and there's nothing wrong with the way this is done, except the kids don't have the income to service that. So if something changes, like mortgage payments increasing, they run into trouble. Well, that was yesterday's story and situation I was talking about. Today, I want to talk about a different group of buyers. Sort of in a similar situation, but it's totally all fake. Their mortgage application was fake. We're talking about fraudulent, fake, fraud mortgage applications. These people never had the income to qualify. And to qualify, instead of getting a cosigner, that's a legitimate way to do things, they actually just put fake documents together, or their realtor helps them, or their bank, or their mortgage broker. Somebody's helping them along the way to do all this. Think about it. Usually, maybe the husband has a decent job, has decent credit. The wife is stay at home, watching the kids. Well, they come up with fake work documents for the wife. I'm just giving an example. And now they qualify for that big house. There's a big problem with that. Sooner or later, you're going to need that wife's fake income to help service the debt. If I apply for a job and in my resume, I put, I can build bridges. That's what I did before. And in the job application and in my interview, they ask me, so you can build bridges? And I say, I can build bridges. And I get hired. They give me the job. And then they say, go build that bridge. I can't. If they don't ask me to build a bridge, I can, get by. But the minute they say, okay, go build that bridge, and I've never built the bridge, I'm in trouble. Well, that's what's going on with these buyers that use fraudulent documents to get a mortgage. They inflated their income. They had jobs they never had. They can't service the debt. They could when they first got it. Somehow, some way, they managed to make their mortgage payment. And the plan kind of was, well, values go up. At some point, we'll sell it and we'll make that extra money for the next house. And for many years, it worked out that way. But not today. Values have gone down. Their mortgage payments, if they had a fixed, a variable rate, their mortgage payments have ballooned. Now they're in trouble. They never had the foundation. They never had both incomes to begin with. So the minute something changes against what their plan was, they're in trouble. So those fraudulent mortgage people, with variable rates, big trouble right off the bat. Then you have those fraudulent people with fixed rates. Well, when that renewal comes into play, payments are much higher, the interest rates are much higher. They're in trouble then. So there's a whole group of people right now biting their nails, trying to figure out how did they get out of the mess they got themselves into. And this is all self-inflicted. They got themselves into this. And I know there's a whole camp of people out there thinking this is a victimless crime. So what? Let them do whatever they can to buy the house they want to buy. You could think that, and in a crazy, weird kind of way, I can see how you think that. After all, it's not like the authorities really care about this or they would do something about it. And it doesn't seem like it's that hard to stop, yet the authorities let it go. But there are victims. When you're buying property that you shouldn't be buying, that you don't qualify for, you take inventory off the shelf, which adds to more scarcity, less supply, which brings prices up. So the people that are qualifying under proper circumstances, they're paying more for the homes. They're having a harder time qualifying for the higher purchase. You bring prices up overall. Maybe if there's a mass exodus, a mass sell-off for a lot of these people that bought fraudulently, maybe that'll help tip the scales the other way. I don't know. I just know that kind of what goes around comes around. Those people that thought they were smarter than everybody else and went the fraudulent route, the illegal route, some of them got what's coming to them. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, like I said earlier, subscribe. And if you want to talk to me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Up here, there's a link to my calendar, or in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the Peel and Durham real estate numbers. So you faked your documents. You have a fake income. How's that helping you now with your real life payments? That's all I'm going to say on that. Let's get started. Average sold price for detached properties here for 3 months, broken down by week. Durham, Brampton, Mississauga, and I got question marks on Brampton and Mississauga because prices went up when overall we can see prices trending down. Let's see if we can explain it. Actually, I know we can explain it. We're going to start off with Mississauga. Again, these numbers are just for detached properties. This chart is broken down by week for a whole year. Can you see it all on there? Okay, so 25 detached properties were sold in Mississauga for week ending November 29th, 2023. Sales have been dropping. I'm going to say this here once, and it's going to pertain to every other sales story in every other region. Sales usually this time of year do drop. It is very seasonal. That with the added interest rate hikes and pricing and buyers having more difficulty in qualification only enhances and pushes down where sales maybe would normally be. However, they do trend down this time of year. Seasonally, it's normal. Sales are trending down. 3 of those properties sold at $2 million or more. Let's look at average sold price. Average sold price has been trending down, although earlier on from say June to August came down quickly. It's still kind of trending down past August. However, this 1 week jumped way up. We went from 1,334 to 1,439,000, a little bit over 100,000 increase in average sold price. Now, before you get all excited, your home did not increase by $100,000 from one week to the next. Let me explain what happened here. Looking at the numbers a little bit closer, I can see that for this particular week, for these 25 sales, well, we went from one property selling at $2 million or more to 3. That brings up average sold price. Plus, when I look at some of the other properties that sold, a higher number, higher than normal, sold in the upper price points. So the more expensive homes sold, which is what I have written here, the more expensive properties sold. And I'll show you that when I get into the median price. And when you're only talking about 25 properties selling, the lower the sales are, the more average price can be influenced by a few properties selling in the high point, but also the other way, a few properties selling in the low point. And that's why we don't base any decision on one week. We're looking more to see the trend. And that's what happened in Mississauga this week. A bunch of properties sold in the higher price point. These are properties listed at 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, did a price drop and sold still higher, but sold because their prices came down and buyers jumped in and bought. Compared to last year, 1,403,039 is 1% lower than where the average sold price was this time a year ago. So we're pretty close to where the average price was last year. Median price. So you see, we're at 1,315,000 the previous week. Median price jumped up to 1,375,000. So the median price of those 25 is higher. So overall, what median price being the middle price, there's a lot more properties selling in the higher price point, and that brought up the overall average. Median price is 10% higher than where we were this time a year ago. 25 were sold, 20% sold at list price or more, which plays into the example I said earlier. A bunch of prices came down. More people now decided, oh, this is a good price, jumped in and bought. And more so, the previous week, 10% sold at list price or more. It jumped up to 20% because of some of these price reductions. Listings trending down, normal this time of year. Active listings trending down. As sales trend down, less properties are available for sale, less listings. It's all seasonal. This happens every year at this time. Months of inventory, excuse me, up a bit from the previous week, sitting now at 4.6 overall. And there's 3 months on the board here. Months of inventory has been trending up. As months of inventory trend up, prices will trend down. Here's Brampton. 35 detached properties were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price went from 1,131 to 1,192. So $61,000 increase one week to the next. Similar example that I just explained for the Mississauga area also happened with Brampton. So average sold price now at 1,192. 1,192 is 7% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price came down actually, which goes against the example I was talking about for Mississauga. But the median price is sitting at $1,100,000, which is 4% lower than where we were this time last year. 35 were sold, 23% sold at list price or more. That percentage has been trending down. Year-to-date sales, Brampton, 17% fewer sales this year than last year, year-to-date. If we compare it to the year before, 2021, and 2021 was a record year for sales, we're like 50% lower than where we were this time last year, 2 years ago. Not this time last year, this time 2 years ago. Listings dropping, active listings dropping, months of inventory came down a bit, now sitting at 4.2 months of inventory, pretty much almost in the middle of it being a balanced market. Here's Durham. For Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample, but still detached properties only. 32 detached properties were sold. Sales are not really coming down in the Durham region. 32 were sold. None of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price, pretty clear. It's been trending down, now sitting at $1,090,000. $1,090,000 is 4% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price, a bit lower at $1,065,000, is 5% higher than where we were this time a year ago. Of the 32 that sold, look at that, 44%. Durham is one of our most competitive areas right now when we're talking about the GTA. 44% sold at list price or more. Listings, like other regions, dropping. Active listings, the amount of properties available for sale, coming down. Months of inventory came down a little bit. Look at that. Where other regions you're looking at very much in a balanced market, you're looking at 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6 months of inventory in other areas. Durham region sitting at 2.7 months of inventory. So lots of areas in Durham region will be just kind of at the beginning stages of a balanced market, but there's still some areas very competitive. Lots of properties in Durham region selling with an offer date. Sellers are expecting buyers to compete, and many of them are. They're getting more than one offer. They're getting buyers competing for their properties. Here's condos for all of Peel region. Now, most of these condos are being bought and sold in Mississauga, but this is for all of Peel region. 21 condos were sold. Those sales volumes have been pretty much the same since the beginning of October. So around 20 is what we've been selling every week. No condos sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price came way down from the previous week, now sitting at $593,000. Now the previous week, we had 4 condos selling at $1 million or more. And since there's only 20 or so condos selling, those few sales, whether it's up or down, really affect the average sold price. And that's what happened the previous week, because 4 condos sold at $1 million plus, average sold price shot way up. So let's forget the 709. 593 is more in line to kind of where prices on the low end are. So 593 average sold price, which is 3% lower than where we were this time a year ago. Median price of 570 is 3% higher than where we were this time a year ago. Of the 21 that sold, only 14% sold at list price or more. Year to date, we have 17% fewer sales this year versus last year. These are for condo apartments. Listings dropping, active listings dropping, months of inventory climbing, now sitting at 7 months of inventory. Pretty much a buyer's market when we're talking about condos in Peel region. Here's a quick summary. You see Mississauga, Brampton, way up in the 4 months of inventory. And we say to put a number, put a label to it, between 3 months to 5 months of inventory is more of a balanced market. So you got Brampton and Mississauga in the 4.2, 4.6. Ajax, Pickering, Whitby, still it's below 3 months of inventory. And then you got condos way up there at 7 months of inventory. Pretty much balanced market everywhere. Some places you're gonna really experience a buyer's market. Few places out there, it is going to be a seller's market. It can be confusing. If you are looking to buy or sell, line up, get somebody in your corner that really understands the different strategies for the different areas. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.